It
How
was
was
good. It
that?
was entertaining. It was good. It was
Yeah.
entertaining. It was yeah. Never met Matt Brown before. Hanging out with a few other like celebrities around Asia, so it was cool.
Well,
You know,
well,
showing him around. He's never
I
been down here
appreciate
before, so
your
yeah.
time. I appreciate you for taking the time this early.
Yeah, no worries, man.
So, yeah, I don't know if you know Anthony Garrido, but he was telling me he went to school with you at Leger, and I knew you were from Brampton, but I didn't know that you went to Leger. And I watched your fights for a while, man, and I just thought it'd be cool to have you on here as a local guy, and kind of like just share your story, how you got out there, and how that transition was, and just kind of talk about that if that's cool. Um, where did you start training, and when did you start training?
I started training at Bramley Boxing Club. You know, on Bramley, on off Balmoral Road, Bramley and
Okay,
Balmoral.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, yeah, that
yeah,
rec center. Yeah, it was like it was a charity organization. So I was only paying like $110 a year, so that was super cheap to box.
wow.
You know, and they paid for everything: hotels, food, tournament inscriptions, all that stuff. So I didn't even know I had to pay to fight until I was an adult, and I was like, oh, you have to pay to do amateur boxing. Yeah, it was cool. I got real lucky to do all that stuff. Yeah, but I know
How,
Ange. Sorry, go ahead.
how do you how old were you when you started?
12 years old. I just
Oh,
turned 12.
young, young, young.
So I was young. Yeah, I think I was in the end of the seventh grade.
And what made you want to start?
Yeah, I got kicked out of school when I was in elementary school. Like I think it was like grade four, and then grade five I came in, and I was still causing problems. Just I was like a chubby kid, and I had short temper. People would call me fat or whatever, and then I would just get angry and then get into a fight. But I would lose a lot of the fights. I would always fight, but I come home with black eyes. I came home with one black eye. My mom was pissed off, and then after like a week later, my other eye was black. My next door neighbor beat me up, and then my dad was like, "That's it. Like if you're gonna fight, like you at least need to learn how to win your fights." So he took this guy named Kevin Hurley, who was a boxing coach at Brownlee Boxing Club. His daughter was friends with my sister, and yeah, brought me in, and the rest is history.
Right on. And so how long did you start? How long did you do boxing before you spread out to other martial arts?
Long time. I started when I was in 2019, 2020. I was competing for the Olympics. So I was doing the like Ontario's nationals, the Pan Am qualifyings, all that stuff. And I got my ass kicked by this one guy. He's like some French Canadian guy, Mian Hussein. And well, to be fair, I had a broken hand. Like even the tournament before that, I won the tournament with a broken hand. But the next fight, I did one fight, and I broke it even worse. I won, and then with that fight, he just beat the shit out of me. And after I was like, like I grew up in Brampton, so it's kind of rough. So like part of the fighting is like learning how to defend yourself in the streets. And then I was like, man, if that was a street fight, he would have beaten the shit out of me. Like I didn't know what to do. Everything I did, he just countered me and stuff like that. I was like, I need to know how to kick or something. So once again, my sister had a friend, different friend, and she was doing karate with it's called Chameleon Martial Arts in Brampton. And then he was I think it was freestyle karate, which now I'm a freestyle karate black belt. Uh, yeah, he took me on and taught me how to like kick and do other things. And then from there, he introduced me to this guy Billy. He's the owner of Legends MMA in Brampton, off of
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that's yeah, Legends MMA. Yeah, so he introduced me there, and then they had a falling out, but I stayed with Billy, and then yeah, and then I just the rest is history from there. Then I started doing BJJ and kickboxing and all that other stuff, and then I just kept fighting until I started fighting underground MMA. Later on, but I think the first fight I had was like 2014. Yeah, I was fighting at the Nashville North.
Where'd you start?
Remember that place?
Oh yeah, 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 man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That place is interesting. So,
It's not around anymore, is it?
bro, I don't know. The last time I was there was like mid two like 2000. Can't remember.
Yeah, from when I remember, it
I don't
closed
think.
down like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been there, but that place used to be rowdy. They used to have the, that was it 250 drinks on the Thursday, and then
Yeah,
They used to
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
they,
$3
I used
drinks.
to
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of problems there. What area did you grow up in Brampton?
I grew up on like Rutherford and Vaughan. Vaughan between Rutherford and
Okay.
Vaughan and Kennedy. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up around there too.
Oh
So
yeah. Cool.
yeah. I used to hang around Maine and Vauden. Went to Leisure as well. Uh, but you're around like you're close to Anthony's age. You guys are in the same like same grade more or less, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
Maybe we're a year
you
apart or something like
yeah. But so when did you decide that you were gonna move away?
that. I did it. You know, in 2016, I was at Nashville North once again, and promoting an event, and someone threw a Budweiser bottle on my face, and then cut half my nose off down to like hanging by my chin, and then that was the end of that. That was the end of that career, and then I had to get it reattached to my face. I almost lost my nose. It took a year of just walking around with a bandage on my nose. People used to call me Nelly around town. Um, yeah, yeah. I find it funny. Um, and then, yeah, so whatever that happened. And then a year later, I went out. Say again?
No, I didn't say anything, brother. It just cut out, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I went out to BC after that. I was living out there for a while until they called me to do surgery. I came back, I did surgery. Then they said I could never fight again. I got depressed, lost all my hair, I got alopecia. I was like bald for like a year. Got Bell's palsy. I was like super disfigured for a while, and
Wow,
yeah, I had the
that's
worst luck
crazy.
at that time. Yeah, yeah. So it is what it is, and then eventually started getting better and better, and I didn't listen to doctors, and I started sparring again, but I couldn't spar with like obviously like face because like my nose was prosthetic, and getting hit in it was like getting sacked, you know, like getting kicked in the balls. So I had to start sparring with like hockey helmets, you know, which I think is the reason why my head movement is so good because I did that for like a year, you know, and I had to adjust myself with the range of my helmet, you know, it was massive. Um,
Mm.
Whatever, like I was saying, yeah. Then after that, I was gonna move to BC, and then one day I ate some mushrooms and I tripped the fuck out because some guy was at my house. Some guy that was on like coke and shit, and I was like chilling there, and I told him he had to leave because I just ate the mushrooms. My friend Sam, and I was like, Sam, you got to leave because like you know I just ate a bunch like 5 grams of shrooms. You're tripping me out. He was out all night, and then all of a sudden it kicked in, and I was like, shit. So then I ended eventually kicking him out of like eventually, and then yeah, when I came through 5 hours later, I was just like, what am I doing with my life? I was like, this is fucked. Why am I with these degenerates and all this other shit? And I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna be a fighter again. So then my coach Billy, he went to Thailand and trained with Master Toddy. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go to Thailand. So my girlfriend, right? And I told her that we're gonna cancel the plans to go to BC. We're going to Thailand. Obviously, she was a little pissed off because like I made her do interviews and everything and get us a job and all that stuff. But I went out to Thailand for like 3 months. I trained there. I got back in shape. I came back. I won my first fight back by knockout. And then the night I went out, we went out to celebrate. And through the associations of the person that bottled me in the face, I ended up being jumped that night at Clancy's by a bunch of people. Obviously, I fought him off and everything like that. But next day, I got bottled again. My head was cracked open. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here because I'm gonna fucking die in this place. Brampton for me wasn't for me, you know. So I was like, I get the fuck out of here. So I started saving as much money as I could. Had like a little master scheme I put up with to make as much money as I could, me and her. And then the following year, we moved to Thailand. I was planning to stay out here for like a year. It was January 2020. 3.5 months later, COVID happened, first in
Oh,
Asia.
wow.
So they did lockdowns. And I was lucky enough that every 3 months, when I went to immigration, they gave me a COVID visa. So I was like, why are you here? I read in the paper, COVID. So they stamped 3 months. So that went on for 2.5 years. At the time, I was into crypto and everything, and I made a lot of money, and I was cool. I was retired. I was getting fat again. And I was done. And then I lost it all. And then I was like, shit, how am I going to make my money back? I'm not going to go back home. So I used to be a training partner with Steve Rolls. He's a famous boxer, you know, in Brampton, and he fought Triple G. And from what I heard, he made like $1 million fighting him. I found that it was like 700,000, but I'm like, still, that's $700,000, man. That's a lot. So I was like, fuck it, if he can do it, I can do it. And then that's when I started fighting again. 2 weeks later, I had my first bare knuckle fight, and then the rest is history.
So how does that transition? Like when you're fighting bare knuckle, man, you got to change. You don't have the luxury of having that glove. You got to pick your shots. You got to pick the power. How do you how did you make that adjustment? And then also, how worried were you about your face and getting your nose messed up again? Now that you're getting hit with the knuckle, did you worry about that?
No, not really, because like as I told you, right, the reason why I started boxing was because I was fighting all the time outside. So technically, I started my bare knuckle boxing career when I was a kid. You know, in high school, I used to be the talk of the town. Every time I had beef with somebody, you know, she would go down in the school. You know how Leger is, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll see you after school. 3:00, we'll meet the whole classic. I message a few people. Next thing you know, I walk outside and there's like half the school waiting for us. And this was like a regular occasion. Like if you ask anybody in Leger at the time, you see that Jonny Tello used to fight a lot outside with everybody watching. And that's how technically I got popular in the first place in the 9th grade. And so like, dude, I've been doing it for a long time. And like I said, growing up in Brampton, all the rough shit happening all the time, I've punched plenty of people in the face, bare knuckle, and I've been hit tons of times. Originally, I was a little bit worried how it would feel fighting somebody that was a professional compared to just some guy on the street, right?
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah. So I was fighting this guy, John Pereira. He was like 6'6". He was huge. I almost didn't take the fight because he was just so big and I was just so out of shape. I was like, fuck. But my girlfriend told me not to be a pussy and to do it anyway. So yeah, thank God. And then that's how I'm here today. I'm here with Full Metal Dojo. I met them through that show, you know, Fight Circus. Yeah. But yeah, when he punched me a little bit and grazed me on the head, I was like, the first thing I thought was like, this feels the same thing. It feels the exact same way as I remember. And I was like, okay, this is not that bad. And I just forgot about it, went in, and then I knocked him out in the second round, I think. Yeah. And then, that was it. And then after that, I didn't really think twice about getting punched in the face because, like I said, I've been punched in the face lots of times before I started my bare knuckle career. So that kind of gave me an advantage and also kind of conditioned my knuckles over the years without me actually trying to condition them, you know? So, yeah.
When you're doing your camps now, what do you do? Do you do anything specifically for your conditioning, for your wrists and your knuckles?
Yeah, there's like a water bag that we have at the gym. It's like a small, tall, and it's like this, okay? It hangs up. Yeah. And when you hit it, it feels like you're hitting raw meat. It smacks your hand really hard, you know? It's like hitting a person, you know? So because it hurts my hand every time I punch it, I figured, well, this is the closest thing I'm going to get to bare knuckle. So I just punched the shit out of that thing. I box with my hand wraps the exact same way they do it with the BKFC or the BKB, which is the wrist and then everything done up to here, you know, expose my knuckles. And then I just smack that bag up for like 6, 7, 8 rounds, maybe sometimes more. My hands get red. I put tiger oil on them so they numb them down. If you don't know, tiger oil is what all the Thai people get massaged with before they start Muay Thai. And it's like kind of like an anesthetic. You just don't really feel much. That's how these Muay Thai guys are able to take the kicks and everything like that. Secret that people don't really know. So that's how I conditioned my shins, actually. Like I would kick the bag until they welled up, and then I would like rub the oil on them as much as I can until they numb out, and then I keep kicking the bag until it starts hurting. Then I do the same process again and again. So numb the pain, keep going, numb the pain, keep going. So I kind of do the same thing with my knuckles. And they were pretty good for a while until I fought for the world title. Broke my hands pretty good in that fight. And then the following fight after that, when I did the BKFC with the Sanchai versus Bukau, I also broke my hands again. Not too much. Like it wasn't like my hands were broken, but like they were pretty swollen for like
fracture?
It took a couple months, 3 months, yeah, to heal up.
Do
Yeah,
you
it's
do
not.
any like do you do any like for your therapy or rehabilitation? Do you do specific things for your hands like stretches, massages? Do you use any devices that kind of help with dexterity so that doesn't compromise your hands for day to day?
Not really. The one thing I do when they're injured and they're hurting a lot, I rub them into sand, just like the old school kung fu ways. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
rub it in, I grab the sand, I do this. From what I hear, it's supposed to work. I never read a scientific article on it, but I do it anyways, and I think it works and helps. Other than that, I just ice it, man, the fuck up, and just keep going. In a sense,
yeah.
you know. So it's like, to be honest, bare knuckle is cool and all, but there are a lot of injuries more so than any other sport because of the fact that you're punching bare knuckle. So
Mm.
like you can't have like when I in 2021, I think I had like 12 fights in a year, 10 fights in a year, you know? But if I did those bare knuckle, there'd be no way I could do that. Understand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
What is your
that's
like? You're focusing more now on the bare knuckle right now, or are you still doing Muay Thai fights as well?
I honestly prepare in everything. I'm a jiu-jitsu purple belt. I still do jiu-jitsu. I still do Muay Thai. I still do boxing training. I have my own boxing coach. I have my own Muay Thai coaches. I have my own jiu-jitsu. So I do everything. So I'm ready for whatever at all
Well,
times. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm getting better and better. I do want to go back into MMA. I just have a little bit of a knee problem, like a small little tear. So I'm getting PRP injections. You know what that is?
no.
When they extract your blood and they extract the plasma out of your blood
Oh
and
yeah,
they inject
they like
ligaments.
shake it, remake
Yeah,
the
that
positive.
shake thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
pretty cheap here. It's like 5,000 baht. So that's about like a little less than $200 Canadian per injection.
Yeah,
From
I
what
think
I
I know
hear,
somebody. Yeah, somebody got it here. I think they paid like $500 to do it.
yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, yeah. So it's a lot cheaper. It's about less than half the price. So yeah, I'm gonna get that done here. I have one of my friends. We trained together, Suri Manfredi. She's like Lethway world champion. She's actually fighting in Japan, I think tomorrow. And she had her leg and it was super messed up. Like she had all ligaments torn, everything like that. She got the PRP injections, her third one. She says she's like 95% better. So
Wow.
if
Eh?
she says that, I'm gonna do the same thing because I need to. That's the only thing that's preventing me from pushing on to the MMA would be my knee because it clicks, and when I shoot down, sometimes it just swells up, and I can't even run outside anymore. Like I can't run on the road. I used to be anti treadmill. Now I'm stuck on the treadmill
Yeah.
because I can't run outside. My knee swells up, so I'm on the treadmill all day. But I do have a hypoxic altitude machine that I use when I'm running on it. So that's great. If you ever get a chance to do that, it's crazy results. It's like taking EPO, except you got to suffer because you got to run with the mask on your face and you actually got to do the work. But when I fought Barry Jones, I got my resting heart rate down to 38 beats per minute. So it was yeah, and I think it was just the machine, to be honest.
How are the gyms there with regards to the MMA and the jiu-jitsu? How is it out there compared to what you were exposed to here in Canada?
To be honest, I just came back not long ago in May for about a month. And one thing I could say is that, training in Thailand, it's a culture, the fighting is so in depth in the culture that when you sign up to a gym or you be part of a gym, you train all day. It's not like you come at 7 o'clock after work because that's the reason why you live in Thailand to train. So life is so affordable that you don't have to focus on working 12 or 8 hours a day. When I was training, like for example, when I was training at Fairtex, I was training at 8 in the morning, at 8 in the morning, at 3 p.m., and then at 6 p.m. So I was training like all day. And in Canada, I don't know any gyms that do that have like all day training sessions, because it's first of all for the gym, it's their livelihood. The trainers there, that's all they do. And well, you can't really afford to train all day. You gotta work, you gotta get a job. How you gonna survive? It's expensive out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What about the level of instruction?
Well, in Muay Thai, there's no real Muay Thai in Toronto or Brampton. Like you can, there's Nick. What's his name again? Nick Batista. I don't know. Do you know Nick Batista?
No.
No, he has Muay Thai Brampton. He teaches garbage. Like it's not even real shit. Most Muay Thai trainers, they're like, it's not real Muay Thai. When you come here, you know what's real Muay Thai. The techniques, the drilling, the pad work. I find that a lot of gyms out west, they're like very watered down. They're based on commercial, to make money. So they have opponents fighters holding pads for each other, which I think is stupid. Uh, yeah, I'm kind of against that. But normally in normal Thai schools, you have a trainer there, and you're with them, and you're doing like 5 rounds every single day. Twice a day. So you're just like bang, 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 keep going. And I think just a repetition, learning how to master something is about the hours you spend on it, right? So you do it again and again and again. The better you get at it. Some people have the discipline, like for example, me, like I can sit on the bag for like 12 rounds, 15 rounds, and I love it. Some people, they say that the bag is boring, but to each their own. Obviously, with somebody holding the pads, punching you back, throwing kicks, and you checking, timing your reflexes down like it's a real fight, that's the most effective way to get better. Combination of both. But and I don't know. I've never seen that before in Canada.
I mean, you have some good spots, but like, yeah, it's more of a commercial thing. Like even the gyms that I know that I've trained at, that I've been at, they used to have a lot of fighters back when they were earlier, because they were trying to build their names, and they produced some good fighters, amateur fighters. And some of them even went pro. But I just find like as time went on, they started to cater more to the enthusiast, because it's a business at the
That's a
end of the day,
pace.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a pace. Yeah.
it's very hard because there's only a select few people that are actually going to want to be fighters, and then some guys they could be fighters, but like you say, they have a life, they have a family, they can't commit the same time or resource, even though the skill is potentially there. And then some people, like the ones who are training multiple times a day are usually like the younger guys who living at home, who don't have all the responsibility that can afford to give that time. And then usually those guys, if they're lucky, they start to fight, they become amateur champions, and then they get spotted and go pro. Um, but I mean, just the lifestyle you're living there, being around, like you say, the culture, everybody's a fighter, and there's so much more opportunity to fight there. It must change the level of sparring. How do you find like the sparring there? Because a lot of people say in Thailand they spar more technical, not as hard. And I've heard some people say, "Oh, it depends on where your gym you go to. Some guys spar really hard." How do you find the sparring is there compared to in the West?
Depends. Like for example, for me, it's hard to find like proper boxing sparring at high level. Like I'm talking about Westerns boxing. I brought this guy, Mikey Willman, into my gym so that we can be training partners together, right? I have another guy named Sam. He's pretty good too. But this is just recently. But for a while, it's very hard for me to get proper boxing sparring. There's just not that many boxers out here. When I was a Fairtex, I used to spar Semenpech a lot, and Semenpech was probably the best Thai boxer I've ever sparred. I don't know if you know Semenpech. He's a one championship fighter. He fought Nango, one of the best fights I've ever seen. But yeah, he's on another level. If he only had a chin, he would be crazy. But whatever. Like I said, he's cool. Um, Muay Thai and kickboxing, you get a lot of high level because you get a lot of guys from all over the world. It's not like in Canada you're training amongst Canadians. Here in Thailand, you're training amongst everyone in the world because you have everyone from Europe, America, Australia, everywhere. Right? This is where they go. It's the fight capital of the world, and you can fight here. There's no commission here, so you can do whatever you want. You can fight. There's no. It's good and bad, right? Like for example, John had told me that there's a lot of Thai fighters have hepatitis B, I think it was, and they don't even know it. And the reason why is because a lot of these fighters fight in these leagues where they don't do any blood testing, so they're bleeding all over each other, and they get hepatitis. They don't even know it, right? Then they find out later. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's rare though. It's not super common. But he says like it's more common than you would think, But in the same sense, that's how things like fight circus. We can have like midgets fighting midgets, or spinning shit only. Right now, they're in the process of trying to do fight circus in Vegas, right? But it's a challenge because you got to go through the commission board, and then you got to get everything approved individually. So it's not that easy. Here in Thailand, you can do whatever the fuck you want as long as you pay somebody. You pay the police, and you can do anything. You can have a bull versus a person. A bare knuckle head to fist fight. Anything. Thailand is the land of opportunity. I'm telling you, it is crazy out here, and I love it. It's really cool. I'm so over the rules. Back home, you can't even breathe without getting ticketed.
Yeah.
It's retarded. Yeah.
How long did it take you to adjust to living in Thailand? What was the biggest culture shock for you when you first got there? When you settled?
You know what? Maybe when I first got to Thailand, I was surprised that people were butting me in line. They would just like go in front of me, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Because like in Canada, that's like no, you don't do that. You're asking for a fight,
Yeah.
But here it's normal culture. It's just so now I just butt in line, and now I just know I try to claim my line. This is mine. Nope, don't get past me. In the sense that was one of the things that I obviously didn't like, but you get used to it. You just kind of go with it. Other than that, I love this country. I think it's cool. Like it's way more relaxed when it comes to the rules, the laws, the ethics of everything. You're even I think your moral compass changes a little bit when you come over here. Things aren't as important as you think. One of the good things I would say is that like in Thailand, you can wear whatever you want. No one's ever questioning you. Maybe in high society in Bangkok, it's a little different, but in most of the country, you dress whatever you want, you drive whatever you want, and no one cares. No one looks. No one asks you what you drive, what you do, anything like that. You can be at a party and talking to a billionaire, and you don't even know. Back home, like there's in a sense a caste system where like people hang out with certain people within their own, economic base. But here, everyone's intertwined and mingled. So it's like a really great place to network because, like I said, you never know who you're talking to because everyone's hanging out in the same places, which I think is cool. Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I've done here, because of literally that.
That's pretty cool. And when you come back now, and you mentioned you were back visiting, how have you noticed the change since you've left? How much has it changed in your eyes and your perception now that you've been living and having Thailand as your reference? When you come back to visit, how do you perceive Canada now?
It has changed. I don't really like the change too much in a sense where like, there's a lot of things, I'm a very open word person. I speak my mind, and I'm a bit vulgar. And when I was home, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, you can't say that, or you gotta be quiet," and I'm just like, "Why?" Like I don't understand. You can get ticketed, or like you can get in trouble for saying certain things. I was like, "What?" I was like, "What is wrong with this country?" It's like in Thailand you can say whatever the fuck you want. The only thing you can't say is something bad about the king. You say something like that, you'll go to jail. But other than that, you can pretty much say whatever the hell you want. Back home it's so like governed, free. It's like there's no free speech anymore, and everything is so expensive. It's crazy.
Man,
It's
crazy here.
like from when I left like 2019 to like when I came back, everything is at least like 45% more expensive. It's
crazy.
The food. I can't go out and spend a meal for myself without I'm spending like $15. It's crazy. Here in Thailand, I can get like a proper Thai, like krapao, like proper Thai meal, for like down to 60 baht, maybe 80 baht. 60 baht is like just like 25 baht. So it's like 250, like
Wow.
$2.50 and get a meal. If I'm spending a lot, I'm spending like $7 a meal, $8 a meal, spending a lot, like getting a big pizza, spending like, and then I'm spending like $15,
That's
like
crazy.
But it's like when you come out here, you don't see homeless people everywhere. You don't see camp cities. You don't see any of that. Everyone has at least enough money to afford a room or a roof over their head, unless they choose that they don't really want one, right? In Toronto, it's crazy down there. I'm like, what's really third world? It's like you have cities where like I used to work on Church Street working security. The things you see down there, man, it's crazy. Here, you don't really see crazy people like that. Sometimes, but not at the
Not
not
at the
the
same
amount
level.
that you see back home. Yeah. Back home, there's a lot of sick people. It's unfortunate, I don't say anything bad about them, but I think it's the system, to be honest, that's broken that makes that kind of happen. It shouldn't be. Like you have clean drinking water, yeah, but like you can't even afford a roof over your head. So
Yeah.
here in Thailand,
No.
you don't have water. Don't drink the tap water. They say, but I have a big house, 3 bedroom, 2 story. Obviously, it's a different country, different everything, but I'm paying like 720 a month for like a gated community and like I said, a big house and big property around. It's like, why the fuck am I gonna go back when my
Mm.
sister rents out a little apartment, 1 bedroom for 2,500 for a month?
Yeah, man, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Do your family come out to visit you often?
They came for the first time in February, and on my birthday for March, they spent a month with me, or maybe a little bit longer. I think like 6 weeks. I haven't seen them in like 4.5 years. So it was nice. It was nice to see them. They enjoyed it too. My dad was super tripped out about everything. He couldn't believe how safe it was. Like in Thailand, that's another cool thing about Thailand is that I can like leave my key in the bike. I can go into the mall, come out like 4 hours later, and my bike is still there. I can leave my phone on like the phone holder. Go inside 3 hours later. Oh shit, my phone, and it's still there. Like
Wow.
it's insane. Yeah. Like how it is
That's
back home. That's not the case back
oh
home.
man,
Yeah.
like the carjackings right out of the driveway is crazy, man. People are getting like stabbed up, and it's to the point where like the police are telling you just give them your keys, like don't bother fighting with them. Like home invasions, they just break in and take it's getting crazy. So
Well, that's a
how
problem.
go ahead.
I said that's a systemic problem. It's not an
Yeah,
individual problem now. Yeah.
no, and it's happening, but I find like it's getting worse in certain places, and it's the social environment. Um, how proud are your parents to see what you've done out in Thailand and what you're doing? How do they feel about you fighting? Did they encourage you to do it professionally, or was it something they wanted you to learn but then didn't want you to do it like for a living?
Yeah, the second one. They never wanted me to fight professionally. They still tell me to stop every time I talk to them. It's whatever. It's like, Hijo, when are you gonna stop fighting? You're too old now. I was like, just
Yeah,
leave me alone. Like I'm a grown ass man. Do what I want. But it's okay. They're parents. I guess it's better they care for you than they don't. Yeah. But
100%.
no,
They watch your
yeah.
fights.
My mom does now. Now mainly because I've built a bit of a name for myself, and like a lot of people talk to my mom about me, especially like with internally through the family. So she's kind of like showing me off. My dad, from what I hear, my dad doesn't really watch my fights. So, but I don't really care. To be honest, I don't even like them coming to my fights because every time like there's times they come to my fights and it's just like negative energy. It's just like I don't need you guys to go move.
Is that
No.
added pressure?
Uh no, not anymore. Before a little bit. Yeah. Like I remember one time my mom I had like my high blood pressure trying to cut weight, and then she was like, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, it's high, but I'll let you fight." I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" And that was a fight. Like if I won that fight, I had a trip to Ireland, amateur boxing. This is in Brampton. And my mom was like, no, you have to go check your blood pressure again. I was like, Mom, leave me alone. I'm not going to check it again. He said, what if it's high? I was like, yeah, exactly. You got to check it. And my coach was like, just check it again. Give your mom, peace of mind. I go check again. And guy's like, okay, it's still too high. I'm going to cancel the fight. I was like, no. Mom was like, oh, what are you doing? No, don't cancel the fight. He can do his stuff. I'm like, Mom, you're the one that put me here. Do the blood pressure test again. After that, I was like, I'm never inviting you to my fights again. I love you, Mom, but no. Like that's yeah. Lost my trip
That's
to
hilarious.
Ireland. Yeah, it's
That's
mother son.
hilarious. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But they 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 need to do it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
How long?
But I
Sorry.
was just saying they came here. They came here. They they saw the gym that I'm running now, Rage Fight Academy, and they were happy to see the gym. The gym is really nice and beautiful. We're gonna be doing a Full Metal Dojo show soon, Tuesday. So this Tuesday, well, it's gonna be kind of like back home. It's gonna be like because it's gonna start at 3 p.m. Right? but it's going to be pre-recorded, and then it's going to be edited and put out after. It's kind of like a fight circus show that's happening at the resort, at my resort. Yeah, so that's going to be cool. I'm excited for that. That's where Matt
Nice.
Brown's coming.
Oh, is that why he's out there as a guest for that?
Yeah, we're doing like a documentary with him. It's gonna be. We started yesterday filming, and then I think we stop on the 17th. So it's gonna be quite a ride. We're gonna do two shows. One in my camp, one in my gym, and then the other one at in Phuket. And then we're gonna just keep filming with him. It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you had a chance to like work with him, spar with him yet?
No. He's doing a seminar at the gym on Sunday. So maybe I get a chance to spar him there. But no, but I had a good time hanging out with him. That was cool. You know, really enjoyed. Matt Brown's really down to earth dude. You know, and it's cool like meeting guys that you look up to when you're younger. You know,
Yeah.
watching them fight and him knocking down Diego Sanchez and shit like that. But yeah,
That's
it's
a beast, man.
yeah. I met I've met Rampage here. I met Crazy Horse, Chris Bennett, Bob Sapp, Tyson Fury. All these people I get to reach for like meet and fight circus. So it's pretty cool. It's entertaining. Yeah.
Who's one of the most like gifted or high profile athletes you've had a chance to work with?
Tyson Fury for sure. Tyson
Yeah.
Fury's the goat. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's awesome. He's such an awesome dude. Like, you know, everyone has. I guess it's also like depending on what their attitudes are at the time. You know, like talking to Rampage was, you know, he wasn't super talkative, but like Tyson Fury and his family, they were like super cool. That's when I did the foot and tire fight at the junkyard theater. Yeah. One of them, the second one. And yeah, he was there, and like his family was livid. They loved it, and he sang "Sweet Caroline" like in karaoke at the end, and we all sang along with him. It was,
Oh, that's awesome.
surreal. Yeah, it was surreal, man. It was pretty cool. But he's probably one of the coolest guys I ever met, for sure.
Yeah, he seems like a really like down to earth, like have a good time type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I met him in his prime when he's still fighting. You know, not when he's retired. Yeah, so that's another cool thing.
And how long do you think that you want to? Is it kind of like you just go by how you feel, or have you set yourself like a time limit on when you think you'll compete until?
Well, I just turned 33. I'm planning to fight to at least 35, 36. If I can retire sooner, the better. I'm trying to make a good amount of money back from my investment of training all my life, and a world title around my waist. Those are my two things. If I can get a world title and make a mill, I'm good. You know, then I'll move out and I'll do something else. But in the meantime, got to keep at it. I'm still doing a lot of other things. I'm doing shows. I'm running a gym, doing everything. So much shit. It's too much. But I'm starting to push everything aside and just focus into what makes me happy, and that's training and punching people in the face. So I'm gonna keep trying to do that for a little more. Yeah.
How do you manage that time to grow your business, to give yourself to your students, and at the same time stay focused on getting after what you want to get at? How do you do that? Does your girlfriend help you with that as well? Like kind of keep you on the level, kind of keep you like, hey, you know, don't burn yourself out, because it sounds like you work a lot, man.
I do. You know, it's a learning. It's a process of learning. You know, and it's been a steep learning curve of how to do it. I haven't been able to balance it all at the same time. I had to like push fighting aside, training aside, and only work. Now I'm starting to find a good balance of it, and that's just by having like a tight regimen, right? Like I have training at this time and this time, and I have no excuses, but I have to do, and everything in between, I have to get my work done. Unfortunately, now I can't like train like I used to, where like I used to train my ass off, then go take a nap, then wake up, and then train again. Now it's like work, train, work, train, work, and then sleep at night. You know, so it's like there's no rest. But my body's getting more used to it now, and my mind, because if anything, it's you get psychologically tired from doing all that stuff more than physically tired. You know. But yeah, she does help in a sense. Like she's helping me with my diet now. She's a good cook, so she's keeping my nutrition calculated. So I'm trying to lose more weight because that's my problem. I keep gaining weight. You know, I like to eat I like to drink, but now I don't drink much alcohol at all, and I've been eating pretty healthy, intermediate fasting every single day. That's as long as if I keep my weight down, I can fight at any time because I'm still in pretty good shape, like cardio wise and stuff like that. But if I can keep my
you
weight
move
down,
well,
thanks, man. But yeah,
man.
I just need to keep my weight down, and then I can fight all the time. Like I'm planning to fight. I might fight next week. There's a small chance I fight Crazy Horse Chris Bennett, but
Really?
yeah, and some stupid fight, some Wheel of Violence fight. Maybe we'll see how it goes down. But if not, I'll be doing something else. But I have 2 boxing fights, one at the end of the month. Then next month I fight in Malaysia for Fight Circus. I think another actually professional boxing fight against like a Malaysian celebrity. And then I have another boxing fight. So I have 3 boxing fights. So that'll put me 4-0. I'm trying to rack up my boxing fights to 10-0 by the end of the year, so I can get a bit of a money fight in like glove boxing. But I'm still fishing to do a bare knuckle fight in the States for BKFC, or trying to get the guy that just beat Barry Jones in BYB. I think his name's LK or something like that. I'm trying to get him down here to fight me in Fight Circus in a bare knuckle fight. So that's my goal, is to knock out the top guy in my own thing, right? Because like the bureaucracy in like all these big organizations is kind of bullshit. So I'm trying to manipulate everything to kind of like do it in my own backyard, when you have a reputation of backing like John Nutt and the crew, it's anything's possible. So I'm still gonna fish at it, and I'm trying to get in the fights at BKFC. I've also been talking to somebody that might be able to help me get a BKFC fight in Canada too. So that'd be cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if
So
I can get that.
how much does the gambling affect who fights who over there in Thailand?
Gambling is actually illegal in Thailand. It's one of those things Thailand's a weird country. Like pornography is illegal, but yeah, it's the sex capital of the world. So are sex toys, but yeah, you can find them on the street. There's vendors just selling boxes of sex toys. It's weird. And gambling is illegal too. But at all the fights you have, especially the big fights, you got everyone. In Thailand, you see like them screaming, doing bets and all that stuff. The only times I ever had like when that affected who I fought was when I was fighting in Bangkok for Moss fight. I did a few like 9-minute round, like 9-minute fight, MMA and boxing, and or boxing with MMA gloves, kind of like bare knuckle, and that was like a big gambling den. There's a bunch of rich Chinese guys just walking, just staring around, like just around you, and then they're all just telling you, okay, if you do this, I'll give you this much money, blah blah blah. So it was cool in a sense, and then you get like $100,000 check at the end and stuff like that. It was sweet. But that was the only time. And when I was in the fight, I was practicing with this guy, right? He's like a Vale Tudo specialist, which I think I'll be fighting Vale Tudo soon in Japan. It's like full.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's this new organization called Roman. Yeah. So Will Chope is doing it now, and I'm hopefully getting a fight soon. And they pay good money, and it's like everything goes, headbutts, like your old UFC. I think it's just fighting and eye coaching. But I'm getting ready for that. But yeah, like I said, I had this 9-minute round with like one of the MMA coach of Phuket Fight Club, and he's like a veteran. He's like, I think he was like 12-2 or something like that in MMA. He's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and we fought, and he took me down. And I know that I've seen Moss fight many times, and like if you're down on the ground, because you only got 9 minutes, they stand you up, And then I'm looking up, and I'm like, he's not doing nothing. I have him in his head like this. I have him neutralized, and he can't get up. And I'm just like looking at the ref. I'm like, are you gonna lift us up? And he's like, he looks up, like it's like someone told him something, and he's like, no. And I'm just like, fuck. So I was like, so now I'm like, okay, obviously the money's on this guy. So I had to get up myself, literally. And I got taken down like 3 times, but I got up all 3 times. And then eventually I reversed him and took him down. And we ended up a draw, but I almost knocked him out. Like the last like 5-6 seconds, he was like wobbling, and I was just punching nonstop, and It was this close to knocking him out, but it wasn't. The bell rang, and then yeah, so it was a draw. But still, that fight for sure, they had it on him, the money, because they did not let me stand up at all. I had to get out manually myself, but it was good. It was a good experience. It was exhausting, but I like fights like that. I really like MMA. It's cool.
I was just gonna ask you, what's your like favorite discipline to fight in? Is it MMA?
To be honest, I like it all. I like everything.
Like it all?
Yeah. MMA though I do like, but boxing for me is the easiest. Boxing is like there's a noticeable. I think I'm one of the best. I have some of the best hands in the world right now, to be honest. So for me, when it comes to like punching, especially with gloves on, like now when I box with gloves, it's like a girl sport, man. It's like you get patted on the face. It's nothing. Like bare knuckle is like serious, that doesn't feel like a sport. When you fight bare knuckle, it's like
Feels like you're
it
fighting.
feels like it feels like a real fight. It doesn't feel like I'm playing around anymore. But when you work gloves on, it feels more like a sport. So boxing is probably the easiest for me, to be honest. And technically, I guess I'm the best at that specifically. But MMA, I love it because that is like a real fight, but like a fun real fight because you're not breaking your hands, because everything goes and you have so many ways to win, but at the same time, there's so many ways to lose.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I'm gonna push a little bit more, see what I can do with the MMA, and yeah. But I'm looking to make some money fight. But right now, what it seems like I probably I'll probably be heading down the bare knuckle direction or the boxing direction, and obviously trying to get things done in Fight Circus. But if I can get some Vale fights or some good MMA fights, I'll do that as well too. Yeah,
That's awesome. The boxing, I'm guessing because you started more with it, you're also maybe that's why you find it easy as well as you've been doing it the longest as well.
yeah.
And do you fight a lot of guys that are tall? Usually the guys you fight, they're usually taller than you.
Yeah, like 90%. I actually have more problems when I fight guys my height. When I fought in the Sanchai versus Bukaw fight, I don't know if you know, but I fought this guy named M. Kuntalai, and he was a hitman and killed 9 people and went to prison for the rest of his life.
There was that thick Asian guy, right?
Yeah, and then he fought his way out of prison. Yeah, well, that guy.
Yeah, I watched that fight.
Yeah. Well, that guy was like, that guy was tough as fuck. It was like punching a coconut, Hands were so hurting after. Yeah. But sorry, I got off track. What were we talking about again? Sorry.
What was I talking about? I was saying, because you started boxing, like originally, is that part of the reason why you find it easier as well, is because it comes more natural to you? And then I asked you, is most of the guys you fight taller than you? Because I watched the way you fight. You have a very good entry with your hook, and you're very good at evading and making yourself smaller and then coming up from underneath. But I like the fact what I notice when I watch you fight is you have an ability to close a distance quickly, and you do it as you come in with something powerful. And then once you land something powerful, you're really good at then picking apart upstairs, downstairs once you're in closer. Is that something you've always done, or is that something you've had to adapt because most of your opponents are taller?
Both. Like I was saying about this guy, he was about my height, and he was actually punching me in punches that I never get punched with. Like he was catching me with uppercuts that I almost never get punched with, but it's because we're about the same height. So yeah. I'm almost not used to like my head moving coming down. He would hit me, But in saying that, when I was young, I was pretty heavy. So my boxing coach taught me I only knew how to fight one way before I did karate. And that was slip the punches, put him in the corner, and just rip the body and just, head body. That was the only way I knew how to fight. Over time, I learned how to box. I learned how to be a counter puncher. I learned everything else. Now I do the inside fighting kind of secondary. I fight more on my back foot now. I let the guys fall into my punches, which I've been working on recently a lot. But yeah, everyone I fight is taller than me. So in a sense, yeah, I have had to adapt, but it's more natural for me because I've been physically, literally doing that exact same kind of scenario for a really long time, like almost my whole life. So even in Muay Thai, when I fight tall guys, it's okay. Like I'm good. Like I'm used to it. I'm not really scared. Sometimes I forget I'm not tall because like I'm like I'm like 5'8", and some guys are big, but like I think I was thinking about the other day. I was talking to a girl. It's like, I almost forget like when guys are big because like for me, it's like I fight all big guys. So to me, it's like we're the
No,
same because yeah, you're big, but I can still fuck you up. It's, at least in my mind, it's my subconscious mind. It might be a little cocky, but like you kind of have to be like that. You gotta be a little crazy to be a fighter.
yeah,
So and because I'm always in attack and I'm always fighting, I always compare myself. I'm like, yeah, I can take you. Like even if you're tall, it's okay. There have been times where I literally have to jump to punch the guy in the face. But then again, sometimes I feel, especially in boxing, in Muay Thai, it's different. In boxing, though, when the other person is really tall, I feel like I have the advantage. He has the advantage for a little bit, but when I get inside, there's just like no getting me off. And I know how to work it. So I think I have more experience fighting tall guys than tall guys have fighting short guys, because tall
mm,
guys usually fight other tall guys.
yeah,
So I think in that sense I have the advantage. And in Muay Thai, it's the most difficult to fight a tall guy. In MMA, you can grapple, so I can grab those legs and stuff like that.
double A,
In
yeah.
Muay Thai too, I can, but Muay Thai also I've had to adapt. Muay Thai I've had to adapt a lot with when it comes to like because they got the teeps, especially the knees. You got Muay Thai fighters
Yeah,
that just
all
go
me.
on. Yeah, that's a little bit more tricky. You gotta learn. You gotta know how to defend knees first of all. And not with your arms, with your legs. Like checking them, getting your knee up to your side. So that when they come in, they're hitting your shin and your knee, not your body. And then learning how to clinch inside and then cutting in and out. It's the most taxing to fight tall guys in Muay Thai. In MMA, it's a real fight. If they get them down, I can single leg them, take them down like that. But if they're like jiu-jitsu black belts or something like that, I have to also be careful. So it all depends on the guy, man. Yeah.
When you first started fighting in Muay Thai, did you find it a hard adjustment from your boxing to then trying to use your hands in a different context?
I've never had a hard Muay Thai fight. I've had 5 fights and they're all super easy. I don't know if I just got lucky, but I knocked all 5 guys out within the first round, or within almost except for one. I had knocked them out in the third round, and I think it's because a lot of Muay Thai guys lack in the hands a lot.
Yeah, it kicks heavy.
So even in sparring, like all my jabs and everything, they're great, especially my jab. So when they start getting clipped a little bit, they start focusing my hands so much they forget about my legs, and I start getting up and down. I do the same method as I do in boxing: body, head, body, head. With Muay Thai, I go body, leg, head, body, and I keep changing levels. So they're always. But a lot of Muay Thai guys, they lack the fundamentals in the hands. So when I'm in there, I can just rip it and let it go. So yeah.
How do you find yourself doing against like more of a Dutch style? When you got guys there visiting from all over the world, if you ever spar with guys with more Dutch style, how do you
Yeah,
find
Dutch style is a little bit different because they got the better hands. I don't have that much. I don't have that much of that experience sparring guys like that. I did before in Canada. Like I was a sparring partner for Joseph Valtellini. Bazooka Joe, when he fought Nicky
Yep.
Holson. So that was I did a lot of sparring with that guy. But in
how
Thailand,
did you, how did
most.
you find him?
Hmm?
How did you find him? How did you find sparring with him?
Oh, he's tough as fuck, man. He was really tough. But
He's
I
a
was
big.
like, yeah, he's a big guy. And I was like, at that time, I was like maybe 21, 22. So I was young. I wasn't as good as I am now. But when we boxed, obviously I had the advantage. I gave it to him in the boxing. But when we kickboxed, it woke me up. I was like, damn, I don't know how to kickbox like that good, because as much as I hit him, he was still getting those leg kicks down. He's a leg kick specialist. So,
Yeah, he's really
yeah, it
good.
was tricky. Nowadays, if we did it now, it'd be a different story. I don't know, but I watch his videos, man. He's still ripped. He looks like he's gonna fight tomorrow.
Yeah, no,
He
he's a
looks
good shit, man.
to me. Sorry. Yeah,
No
yeah.
worries. I won't keep you too much longer, but before I let you go, what advice would you give to somebody who was young and who was looking to become a fighter? Uh, what advice would you give them on how they would approach it or where they would approach it?
I would say, if you're young, stay focused. Know what you want. Go for it. Don't let everyone's gonna tell you not to do it or that you're crazy or do something else, but don't listen to anybody else. If somebody else can do it, you can do it too. That's what I always believe. And everyone wants it. Like a lot of people that tell you not to chase their dreams is because they weren't able to achieve their dreams. You'll never meet a dreamer that achieved their dreams and tell you don't do it. They're the ones that are going to tell you, yeah, you should definitely do it. I think that they coming out here and meeting so many people, especially successful people and people with money, I feel like the only real difference between them and everyone else is that those people never gave up. That there's always going to be downs and ups in life, and some downs are real ditches and hard to get out of. But at the end of the day, the day you quit is the day you lose, right? So as long as you keep resilient and relentless, eventually it all works out. It always does. So even when you're like seem helpless, like I've told you, like the story of my past, there was times where I was like, how am I going to get out of this? But eventually it does. It happens. Even now when things happen, I know that it's just part of the journey. So what I'm saying to young people is, don't listen to what anybody says. Just listen to your heart. Do what you want, but don't waste time. Just stick to it and try not to get distracted, because I know there's a lot of distractions out there. It's easy to do that. The sooner you stay focused, the sooner you make it. If not, you're gonna be like me, my early 30s, still chasing it. I should have been doing this 10 years ago.
Yeah, but you've still done a lot, man. And now that you've reached that level, actually, before I ask you that last question, what was the moment? When did you have that moment where you sat there and you're like, shit, man, this is for real. I'm doing it. I'm doing what I love. And you realized that you were actually in your success. What was that moment like? And what was that moment?
I think is when I got offered the fight to fight Barry Jones. I didn't even know who the guy was, but when I found out I was fighting for a Police Gazette World title, I was like, man, I'm literally doing it. I'm doing what I said I came out here to do. I didn't win the fight. It was obviously a very close fight. He actually fractured my neck in that fight. And I fought in that fight with a broken neck. I didn't even know until later. I was in a neck brace for 6 months.
That's crazy.
After that, I was like, fuck, I should have listened to my mother and went to school or something. So I was like, this is fucked. What the fuck's wrong with me? But before that fight, I was like, really, I'm like, see, I told you I could do it, And then, but now I'm still in that process of trying to achieve what I really want to achieve, But I'm pushing for it, Just stay focused, forget about the past, it's about the present. Don't worry too much about the future, Just stay in the moment, and I hope that that's going to lead me to where I want to go. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stop.
And my last question is, what do you do to kind of keep yourself and check and make sure you keep yourself around the right people that don't discard you, or like don't like blow smoke up your ass or distract you from your goals? Do you have your own checklist of what you allow into your social circle to make sure that it doesn't distract or deviate you from your goals?
I'm 33 years old now, so now I don't need to have a checklist. I already know without thinking about it. Like for example, one of the things that I used to say back home is that in Brampton was that I used to come up with schemes on how to make money with my friends, and then within a week or two, the whole scheme would dry up because people would spend the money or just get fucked up and drunk and just do it all, whatever they would do. And I would just be like, fuck, man, like, why can't I just be around people that want to fucking do something with their life, And out here now I'm working my partner and the owner of Rage. He's a hustler and he has like 27 bars in Pattaya, he's a real entrepreneur. So I'm learning from him. I've surrounded myself with people better than me, John Nutt, his whole team, they're all doing things that are like crazy. I'm just along for the ride. They're looking at me like I'm doing things cool. Like John, like the other day, he's like, you're like, I never met a fighter that's made a piece of their life in Thailand like you have, But I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, not like you. I'm not there yet, I'm still learning from you, Same with Brian Flowers. I'm learning from him. I have other people like Kieran, my good friend. He's like a millionaire pretty much, and I'm not out there asking for money or anything like that, But I see that he can do it, and I see how he's doing it, and it's when you hang around people more successful than yourself, you see that it's possible. right? When you hang around with a bunch of people that don't do nothing with their lives, then you feel like a dreamer because everyone is like, maybe I am a dreamer. Maybe I'm just thinking, not clearly. But no, when you're hanging around with people that are doing what they're set out to do, then you realize that, okay, this is all definitely possible. And you just kind of go with the flow with it. And I try to learn as much as I can out of everybody. And if I meet somebody that's not in that kind of sense, I don't say like, I don't want to hang out with you like that. Nothing like that. I still hang out with people like that. But I don't keep in my close circle because, like I said, I'm 33 now. Like, relationships have to be a bit transactional as well. We have to work with each other. There are some people that you're just like boys and friends and all that stuff, but that's more like friends back home, friends that you made a while back that you guys had nothing. You're just friends because you're friends, Even here, I still have people like that. But at the end of the day, I don't try to lose sight of my mission, because like I said, even now, my position now, I don't like where I am now. I need to get up higher because if I'm here right now, if I die right now in this very moment, I would be like, fuck, I should have done more, So I'm still pushing to thrive to do what my mind is set out to do, as you can probably agree, right? You hang out with people better than you become better.
If you're the best person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what they say.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I appreciate the time you took. I know it's early over there, and I wish you all the support. I enjoy watching your fights. Next time you're in town, man, let me know. I'd love to actually maybe even have you host you, do a seminar or something, or even just get some training with you, man. That'd be
sure, man.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you the best. You got any plugs? You got anything you got to say before I let you go?
No, just keep your eyes out on Fight Circus. We got 2 shows coming up back to back, and then one in Malaysia. And it's always going to be a hell of a show. We got some wheelchair boxing, some lady boys, midgets, and hot girls. There's not much you can ask for. So we're still coming up with new crazy ideas so the Russians can steal and make leagues out of. So the parties will go on. Okay.
All right. Much respect, brother. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, brother.
Talk to you later.
Cheers. Bye.